I'm really looking forward to hearing the show. I think this is something that we've wanted to do on a network for some time, so I'm glad you can do it.
And he, of course, is also a parent of a teen.
I am a
Does
parent of
that
two
sound good?
teens,
He's a, oh, well,
and it's not
Henry,
easy, let me
my
tell you.
brother's 14, so,
Soon to be 15. That's a
yeah, soon
teen.
to be 15. Fair enough, fair enough.
Been a teen for
That's fine.
2.5 years.
Hmm?
He's been a teen for a long
I'm
time.
soon to be, in fact, not a teenager anymore.
Well, don't rush it. You still got 2 more years.
3. Well, I'm 17 right now, so, um, okay, so, let's dive right in then. How are you today?
I'm very relaxed. It's very nice here. We're out at the beach. We rented a beach house at Stinson Beach, and it's very pretty. I'm sorry for the wind noise, but I
Yeah,
forgot to put my headsets.
of
So,
course.
and I thought it'd be more fun to do this out on the beach. Now, I have to say, if the connection gets bad all of a sudden, we're borrowing the neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Oh,
So
good.
as long as they don't, get on BitTorrent or something, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, let's just hope the neighbors don't see this, because we
I have an
are ta-
EVPO.
They did
I
not
thought the
protect
EV,
it with a password, to be fair. It's not a password-protected Wi-Fi connection.
yeah. And I brought my EVDO card. We were going to use that, and for some reason, all of a sudden, it's booting me off every time I try to
Oh,
connect.
there's someone.
So this is working.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if it gets bad all of a sudden, I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, of course.
And
Um,
thank you.
oh, who are you talking to? Is that the neighbors?
No, I'm pretending. Oh, it is the
What?
neighbors. Yeah, you don't mind. Okay, they
Are
don't
you
mind.
serious?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, God, Dad. Okay, so, Leo Laporte is Chief Twit here at the Twit Network, the Twit
That's right.
Studios, and he has, built this whole thing, and, he has all these shows on his network. There's, like, what, 15 shows or something?
I have no idea. I don't really keep track.
There's around 15 netcasts or podcasts,
And I should
and
say, I didn't build it all by myself. I mean,
well,
we have a great staff of people that are working with you, Dane and Colleen and
yeah,
Tony, Eric, our
but you
newest.
hired them, so you technically found those people. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
to some extent.
yeah, but it's, nobody builds anything by themselves. And, another group to remember is the people who funded it, which is the listeners or their donations.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't really exist without them. So you never do anything in a vacuum.
Mm-mm. No, it's true. And so, what would be good to hear about today, I think, which we've already heard about a little bit live, but we haven't put on this yet, though, is how you got to this place and kind of what your path was getting here.
It's funny because it's something that actually I think about with my children, with you and Henry, is what do I tell you guys to help you along in your path? And, looking back on it, I realized that there really wasn't any plan, and there probably wasn't anything I could have done to plan for it. So what I ended up telling you guys, I hope I've given you the messages, to do what you really love and what you care the most about, and that's what you'll
Yeah.
be the best at. And because you'll be the best at it, that's where success lies for you. The worst thing you can do is do something because you think you have to do it or ought to do it to prepare for a career, because you don't really know yet. And I didn't know till I was in my 40s what my career was going to be. So there was
Yeah.
no way to plan for it. When I was your age, I wanted to be an actor.
Hmm. Although what you're doing now is more similar to that than a lot of other career choices.
It is. It's very similar. But, what happened was that I loved acting, and I really wanted to be an actor, but I was too chicken to do it. I didn't want to go through auditions. I didn't want all the rejection. I didn't
Yeah,
think
it's hard. It's
it's
really
hard.
hard to be an actor.
And I didn't have the commitment to it, and I didn't think I could take the rejection. So instead, I did something else that was close to it, which was radio. And I really did fall in love with radio. And actually, I'm being facetious in some ways, saying I didn't find out what I wanted to do because I
You,
was 40. I really did. I found
yeah,
out when I was your age, I fell in love with radio, and I really have done nothing but that, ever since, even though we're doing video, I did television, and we're doing netcasts. It's all really the same kind of
the
thing.
same type of, yeah, exactly.
It's talking on a microphone with people.
Although, to be fair, it's kind of almost just as much luck to get to this kind of position in radio as it is to do in I mean, this is hard to get to.
Oh yeah,
Acting's
in
hard.
fact,
It's hard to be an actor, but it's also hard to be a broadcaster in any way. So,
probably fewer people do what I do than
yeah,
act.
yeah,
So if I had said to myself, oh, what I'd like to do is have a national radio show or have a national TV show, that would have been even more foolhardy if I had
yeah.
made that my goal going out. So really what I did was I did stuff I really liked to do. I really loved to do. And the truth is my career didn't really take off until you were born, because I didn't have much incentive to succeed until I had to raise a family.
And now you
And
have
then
plenty of incentive.
yeah, that gave
The
me
shopping trips, those are incentive to
Well,
be successful.
in college.
Yeah,
But I really did get a little more serious about my career once I had a family, because then I knew that I had to support not just myself but other people, and that kind of focused me. But that was late. That was later in life. That was in my mid-30s.
yeah.
So the advice that I've given you, and I think the advice that I generally think is the best, is, find something you love to do. Find something that stimulates you, that excites you, something that you think you can live with for some time. I remember I interviewed Maurice Sendak, who is the wonderful writer.
She's great.
He's a guy. He's
That's awkward. Well,
it's okay.
I don't know. I've
Hey,
read
it's a
the
girl's
books.
name.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a wonderful children's book writer. He wrote Where the Wild Things
Where the
Are,
Wild Things Are, yeah.
In the Night Kitchen. You loved those as a kid. And I remember getting to interview him. By the way, interviewing people that are interesting is the best part of my job. It's the stuff that I really like the best. That's the stuff.
Well, and that's what I'm hoping to do a lot of, because the people that I'm going to have on are fascinating. They're studying the thing that's most important to.
Exactly. So the thing that's fun about this job is sitting back and talking to interesting people and just listen to them. Anyway, I interviewed Maurice Sendak, and he said a surprising thing to me. He said, you should change careers every 10 years. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Maurice, you're like the most famous children's book writer of our time. He said, yeah, I don't do that anymore. I design opera sets. And he's still an artist. So what he meant, though, I think, was there's a thread to your life of things you love to do. But what you need to do is keep it fresh by finding new ways to express that every decade or so. And that's kind of what I've done in my life. So what you as a young person, I think, is a good thing to shoot for, is to find what that thread is going to be, knowing that you will have many careers, you will have many ways of expressing it. But what is it that you're in your heart you love? Is it talking to people? Is it writing? Is it looking at the stars and trying to figure out why they shine? What is it that really makes you passionate? That will be the thread in your life. And then you may have different jobs around it. But if you can pursue that and be happy around that's a really great gift. I've been very fortunate to be able to.
There must have been some turning point. I mean, what about all those times that you must have gotten lucky to get to where you are?
Oh, there's a lot of luck, and there was also a lot of pain, There was some bad twists along the way too. I mean, things don't go always the best, I worked really hard to get my first radio job. And then the station changed to slushy, beautiful music, and I quit. Yeah. Because I didn't want to do that. They were saying, okay, every 10 minutes you're going to give a weather report, and every 20 minutes you're going to give the ID, and that's all you do.
So you can't necessarily just go straight forward towards a career. There's times when you have to, or when you have stopped, even though it seems like it might be the best thing for your career. Like you could have kept doing that just to get further up in radio.
There are very few people who have a direct career trajectory. Tennis players, and then they're washed up in their 30s. Yeah. There aren't that many people who have a straight career trajectory. Well, so that's why. Well, and then then there are some very, very technical skills that you do have to study long and hard, like being a doctor. Well, and perfect. But I'll tell you what, I know a lot of doctors in their 30s and 40s. I know even more lawyers in their 30s and 40s who crave a career change. They are bored. Yeah. They want to do something else.
But what did you do to prepare for all those times that you got lucky? What did you do to... Oh, that was loud.
I'm moving a chair over so I can put my feet up. But it is my vacation, after all.
Oh, good. But what did you do? Because there were times when it was very lucky, like, for instance, getting found by a certain radio station or things like that. But how did you have the setup that worked? What did you do to make the perfect setup so that when the luck came along, you could just go for it?
That's a really great question, and I think that actually is central to success. It's being prepared when the opportunity comes along. It's two things.